Look here, y'all. These wonderful purple whole peas. We got 2 5-gallon buckets of these. Preacher and I are going to shell them, and we'll carry y'all along while we can them up. Look here. Today at home with Miss Joan, we're going to can up these purple whole peas. I left out a couple of them so you could see them up close. Can't take the credit for shelling this whole big dish pan full of peas. Preacher and I just sat down together and we just tackled them, okay? And it took quite a while when you're shelling peas, but it also, it brings back such childhood memories for him, doing stuff like that with his mom and his grandparents, and me too, with my family. So it's amazing how just a simple pea can bring back a flood of memories. But anyway, if you want to follow me along, we're going to can these purple whole peas, and I want to thank our friend Randy Baker, one of our friends. He's a farmer. He called and he said, "Miss Joan, would you like some purple whole peas?" Well, I couldn't turn them down. So look here, we had I think 2 5-gallon bucketfuls, and it yielded this big dish pan with these beautiful peas. What I was going to do is just show y'all how to fill up a couple of these, because I know you don't want to watch me fill up no telling how many right here. I love this thing right here. It helps you not make too big of a mess. And I've just got a 1/2 cup measure. That's just because it's easy for me to ring the hole. And I'm putting the the freshly picked peas in here, freshly washed, freshly looked to see if there's anything you don't want in there. And I'm just filling it up to the 1-inch headspace, which see all these rings. Now I've got a video out there, and if you're new to canning, before you tackle this project right here, you go to my pressure canning for beginners video and look at it, because I took a real long time, step by step, trying to teach you how to pressure can. So look at that, because I might not explain this step here today as fully as I do on that video, okay? We got our peas in the jar, and because it's a pine, I'm gonna put a 1/2 cup of salt. This is non-iodized salt, okay?
1/2 teaspoon.
What did I say?
1/2 cup.
Preacher says that I said a 1/2 cup. Boy, Heidi, that'd just be a lot of salt. You don't even have to put no salt, okay? But I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in mine, all right? Thank you, preacher. That's what he's here for, to keep me straight. All righty. Now, I'm going to fill up my other jar. Nothing but peas, a clean, hot jar that I just got out of the dishwasher. Okay? You don't have a dishwasher. Some people heat the jars in just this boiler that you're going to can them in here in a minute. There's all kind of ways to do if you don't have every little thing. All right, now again, I'm going to put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt over my peas. And the only other thing we got to do now is just put some hot water over it. I got it over here already ready. I love using my grandma's dipper to do stuff with. So that's all we're going to do. Got peas, salt, and hot water. I tell you what, you can't get much easier than that, can you? We talked about freezing these. Preacher said, well, why don't we just go ahead and can them? Said they'll be on the shelf. We won't have to worry about it, because our freezers, they can get kind of full. So we're canning them, which makes more sense, because if you had to, you could open up these and eat them when you get through, right off the shelf. Now, this is called debubbling. Like I said, you watch my other video on pressure canning for beginners, and it'll take you step by step. Answer any questions you got, or if you got some more questions, you get a hold of me and we'll talk about it, okay? So looks like I need just a little more water in one of them. Alrighty. I think that looks good. I'm trying to get my water to the 1-inch headspace too. And it just helps if you'll go ahead and get all the air out of anything that we're canning. Isn't those pretty? I mean, they're beautiful, beautiful. I don't know other names for them. We grew up calling them purple whole peas because of that purple hull that they grow in. All right, the next thing that I got to do is I'm going to clean my jar rims, and I do that for everything I can. I take a paper towel or clean cloth and just dip it in vinegar. Now this is 5% vinegar that I use. They say they're making 4% nowadays, so you might want to watch that. I'm cleaning the rim of my jar, get off anything that might be on there. In this case, it might be some salt. I'm seeing if it's broke or anything. It's not. Look at these old dishes. That's an old pattern, isn't it? Okay, now we're going to get us a lid, and I've got them heating up with some hot water. It kind of softens up the rubber and the seal a little bit. But anyway, some do it, some don't, but I do. Okay, and so I'm going to get me another one. Do both jars for y'all. Okay, and now all we need is the ring or the band. Woohoo, I've also got them in some hot water just because I like to know they're good and clean. Alright, putting it on here. I bet you can tell me how tight, can't you? Because you already know. Finger tight. All of that's on that little information video for beginners, but not twisted tight, just finger tight. Now, these are actually ready for the canner. Now, how long did that take us? Not long at all, did it? Peas up to the 1 inch line, a half a teaspoon of salt. Then I poured the hot water over it, stirred it up a little. I tried to get out all the air that was in here between the peas. It's called debubbling. Then I cleaned my rims. I put the lid on it, and then I put the band on it. Alrighty, so these are really ready to go in my canner. Hey, you can see we got here you go. We got a long ways to go, but we'll get back with you in a little bit when we get all of these right here filled up, and we'll show you how we can them. It's so easy. Y'all look, this is my 23-quart Presto. It actually holds 20 pints, 10 on the bottom, 10 on the top. You put them in there, you put one of these in, and then you put your 10 jars in my canner. Yours may be smaller, okay, or different size. And then when I start my second row, I put one of these dividers in there. That way the jars don't beat up against one another, okay? So this thing is full, man, it's full. And so all we got to do now is get ready to seal it up. It has, mine calls for 3 quarts of water in the bottom and a splash of vinegar, okay? And that kind of helps with discoloration of the jars if you got different kind of waters, you know. I'm getting ready to put the lid on here, and I look through this hole, make sure it's not stopped up. I make sure this thing goes up inside and down. And there's my emergency valve back there. And make sure that, of course, it's going to be on 0. There's not no weight against it. But anyway, it's just some safety checks and all of that's on that video that I made, pressure canning for beginners, okay? Did you hear that clamp right there? All right, now I've got to line it up where it'll really pull in the pressure, seal off good. So I'm pulling it towards me. This one's going back, this one's coming forward. See right there? Now, I know that mine is closed up as good as it can be. Now that big dish pan of peas made 20 pints plus. Look what a mess that I'm going to cook. This will be our first mess of these to cook. And so I had probably about 3 pints left over, so we're going to have a pile of peas with some cornbread and slaw tonight for supper. But anyway, we're going to cook our peas, but we're going to can the rest of them. And right now, all I got to do is I'm going to turn my heat up, let it kind of gradually come up. Steam's going to start coming out of here. Again, watch that video. I hate to keep plugging it, but it's so true to watch that beginning pressure canning video. Steam's going to come out of here. When it comes out of here, good steady steam for 10 minutes. Then I'll put my weight on it and I'll start watching this pressure gauge rise to 10 pounds. We'll talk about that the next time I come back to you. Okay, you can see, or I hope you can see, the steam is coming out of this vent right here. Okay, it's going really strong. So I'm going to let it vent for 10 minutes. That means it's pulling all the extra air out of here. And when 10 minutes pass, then I'll be ready to put my 10-pound weight on here, okay? It's gone 10 minutes of venting heavy steam out through here. As you see my little lock button that's come up, that's on the front, you know, it pushes up and down when you're checking everything in your lid. It lets me know that this canner's locked down good. I've let it vent for 10 minutes like you do on all canners like this. And now this is a 10-pound weight. It comes with a 15-pound weight. All that's explained on that pressure canning. All that's explained on pressure canning for beginners. But I want a 10-pound weight, so I bought me a special one that's just 10 pounds to set on here. Now I got a 10-pound lock right here, and I'm going to watch for this gauge to come up to 10 pounds. He will sit silently until this reaches 10 pounds, and once it starts towards 11, they're going to start jumping a little bit. That lets me know it's 10 pounds, and so is this. Kind of like a double check to me. But anyway, when this gets on the 10-pound mark, then I'm going to set another clock, because my pint of purple whole peas will pressure can for 40 minutes, and if I was doing quarts, they would pressure can 50 minutes. Now, that was in one of the old ball blue books. I'm going to go with 40 minutes on my pints, okay? But that is after my gauge hits 10 pounds. It hits at 10 pounds, so I'm going to turn my oven, my stove top down. I usually know that mine will run about a medium to keep this 10-pound weight from rocking too vividly. But this right here, as you can see, it's trying to get over 10 pounds, and that's why that one is showing out so. So I've reduced my heat, and this thing will slow down right here, and everything's locked down. So now I get to set my clock for 40 minutes, and that's how long these pint purple whole peas will process. We're gonna have some good peas. Oh yeah, look here. I'm cooking these, you know. Look at them. I got a little bit of bacon grease in them and some salt, and I'm just letting them cook right alongside me carrying it up the rest of them. All right, 40 minutes on the pie, 50 on the quart. Okay, everybody, it's been 40 minutes. All I got to do right now is just reach over here, put my stove off, and I let it cool down, this gauge, come all the way down to 0. But for safety, I still let it set, at least an hour, hour and a half, before I take the lid off, and we'll do that together. Now I'm going to take my 10-pound pressure off, because, I've let it set like an hour and a half, okay? So we shouldn't get any steam coming out right here, I always, of course, this thing's on 0 now, because it's been sitting here so long. All the pressure is supposed to be out of it. So I'm just pushing it back. But no matter how long it's been, I always open it up backwards in case there's any steam still in here. Let it go that way. Oh, woo, woo, I can't wait to look at it. Oh, baby. Well, here we go. Might be a job getting this first one out. Remember, we had 20 in here. Oh, wow. Look at them. Now, see, I have just showed you just how easy it is to can use some fresh peas out of the garden. These, I told you I didn't know what to call them besides purple whole peas. Well, somewhere I read that some people call them cow peas because they wouldn't eat them. They would just sow them to feed their cows. I'm thinking, wow, what are they missing? These things are delicious. Purple whole peas. Remember, I got 2 levels of these. I'm glad Preacher said go ahead and can them up so they'll be ready. I was going to do the shortcut and freeze them, but he was right. We haven't got room for these in that freezer. And these will last a long time sitting on the shelf, require no electricity, no anything. Just waiting on us to open them up, and they're ready to eat when you get them opened. I'm trying to teach y'all just how easy it is to can your own food. And you know exactly what's in it. And it just tastes so good, especially this stuff comes fresh out of the garden. Remember I told you that I put that divider in here? And it changes the colors a little bit just because of all the heat and the pressure and everything. But anyway, here's all my others down in here. I got them all set out here, all 18 of them, and here's our peas. Look at here. Here's the ones, you hear that popping? I love that sound. But here's the ones I cooked up for supper. It took about, less than an hour on a medium heat for me. And these are going to be delicious for supper. And then, what I'll do now is, since they're fresh out of the canner, they're still really hot, I usually just cover them up, sit them on a towel, and cover them with a towel. Why, Miss Joan? Because that's how my mama done it, okay? But she would just cover these up, let them sit till in the morning. And I'll just go ahead and tell you about what I'll do in the morning is I'll wash them I'll take the rings off. I washed the jars really good. That popping, see, you got to make sure each one of them doesn't pop down and come back up. That means it hadn't sealed, and then you'll have to just put it in the refrigerator and use it real soon. But anyway, I'll check, make sure they're all sealed. I'll wash them off. I'll take my permanent marker and I'll put the date. I put the month and the year on there, and they'll be ready to put in my pantry. But as for right now, to close out this video, I'm going to cover them up and let them sit. And I'm just so proud this hot. So proud and so thankful of how they turned out. Hey y'all, right here at the end of the video, I wanted to add this. I come in here this morning, the day after, and I wanted to take my rings off like I told you I was going to do and wash them all down and write the dates on them. Well, when I got to looking at them, I thought, well, doggone, my juice is a little thick for what I like. This is after they've set, see, overnight. It kind of thickened up. So the next time I do my fresh peas, I'm going to let me get one. I'm trying to film this myself. Nobody's here but me. I'm going to fill my peas up to 3/4 full. Then I'm going to put my hot water in there and fill it up to this 1-inch line right here. And I believe in that way they'll be a little more juicier. Now these are all fine. They all sealed. And they're good to eat. When I get them out in the pan, I'll add some water to them and they'll cook up just fine. It's just that in my jars, I like a little more juice than this. So I'm just telling y'all, in case you don't going to be doing it, that you might want to choose, do I want a thick soup in mine, or do I want a thin soup, or juice, so to speak. And so I thought I'd stick this on the end of the video in case it helps somebody when you go to do yours. They're still just beautiful, beautiful purple whole peas, and we're going to enjoy every one of them. And you can do it. You saw how easy it is. It's just peas and water and a little salt. And so anyway, I appreciate y'all tuning in today to At Home with Miss Joan, and just appreciate all my viewers so much, Preacher and I do. And we enjoy making these videos, trying to help somebody learn how to can up their own food. At Home with Miss Joan, would you like? You know, whether you like it or not, okay? At Home with Miss Joan, please subscribe. Sure does help this old girl's channel grow. Won't you share with friends and family? You know, like your mom and them, okay? Comment right here and you'll hear back from me. You know, Preacher, get back with you, my daughter, me, somebody will right here from At Home with Miss Joan. Woo! Y'all check these videos out, okay?